Hi, this is Jamey with Stonemeyer Games, and I'm here today to talk about my favorite game mechanism in Going, Gone, a game by Scott Nicholson. Going, Gone is a pure auction game where players are bidding using bucks, which are just cubes, and they're tossing them in real time into these little cups, and there's a card or cards associated with each of these cups. At the end of the auction, or at the end of each round, whoever has the most cubes in a cup wins the cards. And the cards do this set collection thing. This game, I've had a lot of fun with since I got it a couple weeks ago. And it has some really clever mechanisms. The most clever of all, I think, it's kind of, actually, I'll give the overall context. The overall context of the game is that it is an actual real-time auction. There's no abstraction, really, of what the auction is here, because it happens in real time, like an actual auction with an auction paddle. All the rules are on the paddle, but this is an auction paddle, and players in real time are tossing these cubes into little buckets, which just makes the game a lot of fun, but it also really feels like a real-time auction, which I thought was really clever that Scott Nicholson was able to do that. But to make that mechanism work so well, or that area of the game work so well, is a mechanism that I think works in this game and could work in other games as well. And it does in more abstracted ways. But in this game, the auctioneer, the person who has the paddle, determines the length of the auction itself by the pace at which they count down from 10 to 1. So as soon as the auction starts, the person who has this says 10, 9, 8. The only rule being that they have to pace out the numbers equally, because the auctioneer is also participating in the auction. They're tossing stuff in the buckets. So you can't go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can't do that. But you can, however, count really fast or really slow as long as your pace is consistent, which is just brilliant because it gives each player the power to control how long the round takes, really. It's not how long the game takes, because every player has a turn being the auctioneer, or more than one turn being the auctioneer. But just that you have that control over the pace. So when it gets around to you, if you like a slower pace, you can make the pace slower. If you want a fast, frenetic pace, you have control over that. I really love that aspect of Going, Gone. And other games, I think, kind of have this mechanism where more abstracted, but where the things you do on your turn affects the length of the game. An example that came to mind was Seasons. In Seasons, you're drafting dice, basically, or selecting dice, and the last die left over that no one picks determines how fast the game speeds up from there. Like, it'll move the little time token up between, I think, 1 and 3 spaces. Also, actually, I just played Stone Age at game night the other day, and in Stone Age, players determine the length of the game by either burning through the cards faster or by going through one of the stacks of building tokens faster. So you could, if you really want the game to move along and end quickly, maybe your strategy is based around that, you might try to focus on one single stack of building tokens to make the game, instead of going from stack to stack and even in and out, you might burn through one stack to speed the game up. So I really like this in games. I like when there isn't a set number of rounds. I like when players have control over the pace of the game and the length of the game, within reason. Obviously, you wouldn't want a game that could last from between 1 hour to 4 hours. That's too broad of a range. But you can have mechanisms that control that. But just in terms of real time, this is brilliant. That the real-time auctioneer has control over the pace of the game during their turn as the auctioneer. If you have any other games that came to mind when I was talking about this mechanism, I would love to hear about them in the comments. Let me know what you think. Thanks.